Welcome to the deep dive. We explore fascinating ideas and really pull out the core insights so you can stay informed, maybe even get a little inspired. Today, we're diving into a book that's genuinely shifted perspectives for a lot of people. I know it did for me. It's Brianna Wiest's The Mountain Is You. And our mission here isn't just, a quick summary. We want to really extract the most powerful, the most actionable lessons from this book. So if you ever felt like you're your own biggest obstacle, like something inside just keeps holding you back, then this deep dive is definitely for you. We're going to unpack some pretty surprising truths about those roadblocks we often build ourselves, and yeah, how to start dismantling them.
Absolutely. And we're not just skimming the surface with, standard self-help stuff. We've picked out specific excerpts here. The book digs deep into personal growth,
Yeah.
but also the mechanics of self-sabotage, which can be quite subtle. These ideas, they offer some really practical shifts in how you might see things. Expect a few aha moments, hopefully. Think of this as like your direct path to getting really informed about a key part of personal development, mastering that inner world.
Okay, let's jump in. First core lesson. The surprising truth about fear. Now, we often think fear is about, external threats, right? Something out there. But Wiest, she offers a deeper take. It kind of challenges that basic assumption. She writes, and this quote really stopped me, "The truth is that when we stop being afraid of what we cannot control and know instead that nothing can possibly ruin our lives more than we are ruining them with our negative, distracted, and irrational thinking and focus, we are completely freed."
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. And what's fascinating is that redirection of focus she does. It's not saying ignore fear, but understanding where it's really coming from. She's pointing to our internal state, our own irrational thoughts, the distractions, the negativity. That's the source of paralysis, often more than the external thing itself.
So it's our thinking about the threat, not just the threat.
Exactly. When we accept that, we can be our own biggest saboteurs through just how we think, suddenly the external world seems less intimidating. The perceived threats lose a lot of their power.
Yeah.
It makes you ask, right? Which external fears are actually just reflections of what's going on inside.
That's a big shift
Yeah.
because it means the fight isn't out there. The real battleground is inside your own mind.
Which sounds daunting, but it's also where your power lies.
Right. It can actually be freeing because you control your internal response, or at least you can learn to.
Yeah.
So just think for a moment, if you shifted focus like that from the external stuff to your internal patterns, how might that change how you face challenges?
You'd reclaim so much energy.
Okay, so once we start looking inward at fear, we often bump into another big one, this idea of the perfection trap. Wiest talks about this a lot. It's that anxiety about doing it well that means, well, often you don't do it at all.
Oh, definitely. Analysis paralysis.
Totally. My to-do list sometimes feels like evidence of this, agonizing over the perfect way to start something simple. She calls it self-sabotage, and it feels right. There's a line in the book that just cuts through it. Don't worry about doing it well, just do it.
So simple, but so hard sometimes, isn't it? The core idea is just begin, start. That anxiety about whether it'll be amazing or perfect or, world-changing, that's often the biggest block right there. We get hung up on the ideal outcome.
And then nothing happens.
Exactly. So the alternative she gives is, instead of perfection, focus on progress. It's about taking action, building some momentum, then you can refine it, iterate.
You can't improve something that doesn't exist yet.
Precisely. If you never start, you never arrive. You just got to get moving.
So, for you listening, what's that thing you've put off, that idea, that project? Waiting for the perfect time or plan. Maybe just ask yourself, what's one small, imperfect step you could take, like right now, just to get the ball rolling?
Doesn't have to be huge, just a step.
And, that flows really nicely into the third point, which tackles motivation, or rather, the myth of motivation. This is huge for procrastination, which, let's face it, affects most of us at some point.
The whole "I'll do it when I feel like it" trap.
Right. We wait for inspiration, for that magical feeling to hit us before we act. But Wiest just completely flips that. She says, and this bit is key, it is essential that you learn to take action before you feel like doing it. Taking action builds momentum and creates motivation.
It's such a game changer, honestly. It turns conventional wisdom upside down. Motivation isn't the cause of action, it's the result.
You act first.
You act first, maybe forcing it a little, and that action generates the feeling, the motivation you were waiting for. It's a feedback loop.
Like priming the pump.
Exactly. And the beauty is how practical it is. Start small. One manageable thing. Even if you're dreading it, That first step gives you a little jolt of energy, makes the next step easier.
And then the next.
Yeah. It kind of democratizes productivity, doesn't it? Anyone can start, no matter how unmotivated they feel. Just take one tiny action.
Have you ever felt that? Like you finally drag yourself to start something you hate,
Oh, yeah.
and then suddenly, maybe 10 minutes in, you feel that little surge. Like, okay, I'm doing this. It's actually happening.
Yes, that's the feeling.
So Wiest is saying, don't wait for that feeling. Create it intentionally through actions.
Self-inspiration through doing. Powerful stuff.
Okay, for our final lesson in this one, it really makes you think. It's about judging others. We all do it, right? We critique people's successes, failures, choices, sometimes silently, sometimes not.
Almost automatic sometimes.
But Wiester points out this hidden cost, a cost we usually don't connect to ourselves. She says it so directly. When we set up judgments for others, they become rules that we have to play by too.
Oof. Yeah, that one lands hard. Think about what that means. Our judgments aren't just observations out there. They subconsciously create these invisible fences, these limitations for ourselves.
Can you give an example? How does that work?
Sure. Okay, say you constantly judge wealthy people. Maybe think, oh, they must be greedy, or they probably stepped on others to get there.
Okay.
You might be setting up an internal rule, without realizing it, that says being wealthy, being bad. So then, if opportunities for wealth come your way, you might unconsciously sabotage them.
Because you don't want to be bad.
Exactly. Or maybe you judge someone for being really outgoing, maybe too loud. You might then police yourself, suppress your own expressiveness because you've made being quiet an internal rule.
Wow. So our criticism of others limits our own potential.
It absolutely can. Our envy, our criticism, it can block our own path to the very things we're judging because we've attached negative rules to them in our own minds.
So how many of our own limits, our ceilings, were just reflections of judgments we hold about other people?
It's a profound question to ask yourself. It's like holding up a mirror to the world and then turning it back on yourself.
That really is something to sit with. It makes you reconsider every casual judgment. So think about it. What judgments are you holding about others, their success, their personality, whatever that might be, setting up unspoken limits in your own life?
Unpacking that can be incredibly freeing.
So let's try and bring this all together as we wrap up this deep dive. The core message of The Mountain is You seems pretty clear, right? It's in the title. The biggest obstacles, the fears, the perfectionism, waiting for motivation, the judgments, they're internal.
They are the mountain. You are the mountain.
It's not out there, it's in here. This whole deep dive has kind of been mapping that internal landscape.
Exactly. And the big takeaway, the really empowering part is this. The second you realize your internal world is the main thing holding you back, you get your power back instantly.
How so?
Because you stop fighting the world, which feels impossible sometimes. Instead, you just have to choose to get out of your own way.
That's where the real change happens, shifting from an external battle to an internal recalibration.
Yeah, in your internal world. That's something you actually can influence. You can change your thinking, your habits, your perspective.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. Something to mull over. What's one area in your life right now where you feel like you are the mountain, where your internal stuff is the biggest block? And thinking about everything we've discussed, fear being internal, progress over perfection, action creating motivation, letting go of judgments, what's one tiny, imperfect first step you could take right now or today to just start moving that mountain, even an inch?
We really hope you don't just hear these ideas, but maybe sit with them. Reflect on how they show up for you. The insights in the mountain is you.
Yeah.
They're genuinely a powerful guide if you're looking to unlock more potential and really change your path.